Under the scorching sun, what used to be a lush green meadow had now turned into a muddy, torn-up battlefield, as if a violent assault had swept through. Deep hoof prints and twisted trenches marked the ground, clear evidence of the wild boar's rampage. They destroyed everything in their path, roots, insects, even small creatures caught in their fury. In just one night, the field had become a wasteland. It was time to act. But the question remained, did we, a group of determined hunters, have what it takes to stop these beasts? Before dawn, our crew loaded into our trusty pickup truck, accompanied by a pack of loyal hunting dogs. We set off for the remote southern plains of Arkansas. Mere minutes after arrival, the dogs caught a scent. While they chased the trail, we moved silently into position, hiding in tall grass and shrubs, preparing for an ambush. Time passed slowly, 30 minutes of complete silence. Then, suddenly, the barking erupted deep within the woods. I squinted into the distance. Dry grass rustled. Something was moving. I whipped around. A dark shadow dashed past. Without hesitation, I locked onto the nearest target and pulled the trigger. 1, 2, 3 shots rang out. The nearby boars went down instantly. The rest vanished into the morning mist. To make sure nothing slipped away, I called Kellen, our best marksman, for backup. As expected, he fired a single clean shot, and another boar dropped to the ground. Ten minutes later, another gunshot echoed from a nearby field. But our tracker signaled that the target had escaped. Without wasting a moment, I rushed in that direction. Just as I arrived, a dark figure darted through a vegetable patch. No time to think, gun raised, trigger squeezed. The threat was eliminated in an instant. The team's spirits soared as we notched one success after another. While moving forward, another shadow emerged from thick grass. I seized the chance and opened fire, deliberate, experienced shots. A massive boar crashed to the ground. As the group pressed on across the field, I quietly peeled off, heading toward the forest edge. I found a hidden spot behind some bushes and waited. Then, that familiar sound returned, the rustle of leaves. A few wild boars were creeping out from the underbrush. One of them spotted me, panicked, and veered off sharply in another direction. I gave chase, lifted my rifle, and, with a single shot, the boar staggered and fell. It all happened in a flash, but that was all it took to eliminate the lurking danger. Dusk crept in, the last rays of sunlight fading behind the treetops. We had to act fast. There wasn't much daylight left to track down the remaining wild boars before darkness swallowed the forest. While we scanned the roadside bushes, a huge wild boar suddenly burst from the undergrowth into an open patch ahead. Without hesitation, I raised my rifle, took aim, and fired. The shot thundered across the field. Moments later, the beast lay motionless. There was no escape for it. Our hunt, for that day, at least, had come to an end. If you have thoughts to share, drop a comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss our next adventure. In just 7 short days, the wild boar herds had swept down, shamelessly ravaging the land in broad daylight. Moving in packs, their numbers grew larger with each passing day, leaving farmers too frightened to plant any new crops. Now, Marcus and his hunting team decided to set an ambush, taking advantage of the terrain and the creature's habits to gain the upper hand. But this was no ordinary hunt. It was a battle to reclaim their land. Would their strategy be enough to stop the destruction? The answer lay right ahead. As dawn broke, the team silently advanced onto the fields where chaos had clearly left its scars. The hounds were released, sprinting swiftly as their barking echoed across the air. Marcus and his men tightened their grips on their rifles, ready for the unforgiving clash. Suddenly, a massive herd of wild boars emerged, slowly foraging for food. Without hesitation, the first shots rang out swift, sharp, and precise. The beasts were taken down instantly, a seamless display of teamwork and hard-earned experience. The deeper they went, the more Marcus's eyes scanned the surroundings. Soon another herd appeared, completely unaware they had already fallen into the crosshairs. Marcus steadied himself, took the perfect aim, and pulled the trigger. Gunfire cracked through the silence, each shot bringing down a target. Every decisive strike cut off yet another threat to the fields. On the western edge, other herds wandered in search of food. But today, luck was not on their side. Adrian and his men were already waiting. Bursts of gunfire rattled through the dusk, each bullet finding its mark. Within moments, several boars were down, and the farmland stood protected once again. As dusk descended and darkness wrapped around the fields, the true hunt began. At exactly 7 p.m., Marcus's team took position. Night vision scopes lit up the landscape, revealing every detail. Right before them, a herd of boars feasted carelessly, unaware of the danger lurking nearby. Marcus locked onto his target, finger tightening on the trigger. The opening shot shattered the stillness, and the herd panicked, scattering wildly, leaving one of their own behind. Venturing deeper into the heart of the area, the hunters moved cautiously. Suddenly, a rustling broke the silence, putting Marcus on high alert. He swung his flashlight toward the sound, and there it was. Without delay, a single bullet struck true, stopping the creature in its tracks. Before Marcus could catch his breath, a signal flared from the east. More targets. The team moved swiftly, coordinating their positions. Through the night vision lens, not just one, but an entire pack of wild boars appeared, ready to tear apart the field. This time, everything was within their control. A thunderous volley of gunfire erupted, tearing through the night. In just moments, the rampaging herd was stopped cold. A great threat ended just in time, restoring peace to the land that had long suffered devastation.
2, 1.
So, what do you think of this thrilling hunt? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe to keep us motivated in bringing you more unexpected and exciting hunting stories. See you again in the next adventure. Florida may not be the first name that comes to mind when people think about hunting. Usually, folks think of Texas or Alabama. But for me, it's Florida with its vast swamps, thick palm groves, and wild vegetation that truly feels like paradise for hunters who crave challenge and drama. Especially when you're riding in a buggy, it feels like every hunt is within your grasp. Our buggy had no doors, built simply with a sturdy steel frame, large knobby tires for gripping rough terrain, and a gun rack mounted right in front of the steering wheel. The surroundings were quiet, filled only with the hum of insects and the soft purring of the engine beneath us. Suddenly, the sound of barking dogs broke the silence. Just a few dozen meters ahead of us, a large wild boar was being surrounded by a pack of dogs. The buggy came to a halt. I carefully took aim and squeezed the trigger. A thunderous shot tore through the quiet air. The boar froze for a split second, then collapsed. It was only medium-sized, but it was our first trophy of the day. We kept moving deeper into the swamp, where wild palms and low brush grew thick. The difficult terrain forced the buggy into low gear, and I closely watched every movement of the hunting dogs. Suddenly, a group of wild dogs burst out from the underbrush, big, aggressive beasts. Without thinking, we fired at once. Maybe startled by the engine noise or the scent of gunpowder, they quickly scattered, each fleeing in a different direction. I continued driving southward, where the terrain flattened out and bordered open grazing fields, places where wild boars often gather to feed. The buggy crept forward, and the summer breeze helped ease the heat. One of our group spotted a herd of boars drinking from a small waterhole at the edge of the forest. Without alerting them, we got out of the vehicle and followed a narrow path to a clearing about 50 meters from the waterhole. It was so quiet, we could hear ourselves breathing. We aimed for the biggest boars. A single shot rang out, and the largest one dropped instantly. After collecting the downed boars, we continued our journey in the buggy. By then, the sun was high. Our dogs were still full of energy, tracking and chasing boar scents. This time, one of our friends made a bold decision not to use his gun. Instead, he went for a daring move, catching a wild boar with his bare hands. It sounds unbelievable, but in some swamps of Florida, it's not an uncommon sight. And today, we were lucky enough to witness it. A crazy, exhilarating moment. We got back in the buggy and resumed tracking wild boar signs. Hunting in Florida is not for the faint of heart. The scorching sun, buzzing insects, dust clinging to your body, and the constant threat of a boar charging at you. But every trip is a test of courage, a mental game between man's bravery and nature's cunning wildness. As we drove back, I could still grip the wheel firmly, but my body was worn out. My face and arms sunburned, my shirt soaked in sweat and caked with dirt. Scratches from bushes and mosquito bites covered my skin, but it was all worth it. I laid my gun down, carefully cleaned the barrel, and sat back in my seat, surrounded by the fields under the blazing sun, at peace. Our swamp hunting adventure had come to an end. How did you feel about today's video? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more hunting trips to come. In the wild forest of Tuscany, Italy, a survival challenge lies ahead. Our opponent, a 250-kilogram wild boar, stubborn, cunning, and extremely dangerous. It is the sole target that the whole group is aiming for on this journey. Can we bring down this colossal beast? Join us in this thrilling adventure to find out. Our hunting journey in Italy began at dawn, when the whole group set out and arrived at the foot of the mountain at 6 a.m. Barely 10 minutes later, the sound of hunting dogs echoed through the forest, like a warning bell. We immediately heightened our alertness. My eyes scanned every bush, every log, and then, suddenly the wild boar appeared, charging straight at us. Without hesitation, I raised my gun and pulled the trigger. A single bullet, small but precisely placed, hit its vital spot. The giant beast collapsed instantly. My dogs rushed in, barking joyfully. This time, with the help of a drone, we detected another group of wild boars hiding among the dense foliage. After pinpointing their exact location, we deployed a tactical ambush. As one of them moved into the firing range, I didn't hesitate and pulled the trigger. A precise shot took it down in an instant. Another one nearby tried to flee, a fatal mistake. One more accurate shot, and it lay still. Cheers of victory echoed through the forested mountains, and my hunting dogs continued chasing the stragglers. Seeing the opportunity, the whole team quickly got into position, each aiming at the larger targets ahead. Some managed to run further, but our encirclement was tight enough to ensure none could escape. The chase grew more intense. One crafty boar tried to hide behind a large tree trunk, but we had already anticipated its route. A decisive shot and its escape attempt ended right there. Just as we were about to catch our breath, something unusual caught our eye down in the valley. Another herd of wild boars appeared. The distance was too far, making a successful shot nearly impossible, but I decided to try my luck anyway. The first shot missed. I realized I had been too hasty. I slowly moved toward the chaos, nearing the mountain peak. And then, oh God, it almost charged into me. If my dogs hadn't rushed in on time, I might have been seriously hurt. As the boar turned back to flee, I quickly closed in and fired without hesitation. A direct hit to the forehead, the massive animal collapsed. That moment stood as proof of how dangerous wild boars truly are: massive, aggressive, and ready to attack when cornered. On the other side of the mountain, another chase was unfolding. A boar was struggling to escape from the encirclement of my hunting dogs, but it grew increasingly disoriented. At the perfect moment, we struck. The animal, though injured, tried to keep running. In that crucial moment, Sealer fired the final shot, ending the tense pursuit and delivering another victory for the team. After hours of chasing, the entire team was nearly exhausted and decided to retreat down the mountain. But suddenly, the barking of dogs rang out again, rekindling the fire in everyone's hearts. Following the trail, I signaled Elias, who was still at the top of the mountain, and shouted for him to fire. A gunshot rang out. Bullseye. The whole team erupted in cheers. Not just for the victory, but for the overwhelming feeling that every effort had been worth it. That's the end of today's video. Did this trip excite you? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more intense hunting adventures. Goodbye and see you next time.